This I tried to find this story online, but I couldn't actually. But anyway, it's from the Times, I think, and it says the Olympians are being asked, or Olympics athletes are being asked to at the Paris Olympics, told to use the podium for social change. Now, British athletes at the Paris Olympics are being trained to use their fame to drive social and cultural change. UK Sport, the government agency responsible for investing in high-performing athletes, are running courses bringing Olympians to become campaigners. Athletes are already campaigning on issues such as LGBT rights, female body image, the environment, and mental health. So I'm sure we can, some more knee taking, some bring back BLM, let's have some Gaza protesting, all supported by the British taxpayer. Why not? Goody, goody, goody. Let's ruin absolutely bloody everything that everyone enjoys. Let's get rid of every semblance of patriotism in this country. Let's instead just spoon feed people with the obnoxious politics of the liberal classes in this country. You stuck-up morons. Ugh. I won't be watching any of it if they're going to stand there on the bloody podium and give us a lecture on sodden climate change. I bet they got there not on the Eurostar, but by some bloody jet. Yet we'll all get told that you need to install that expensive heat pump and Granny ought to turn down a combi boiler because Greta won't be happy. Piss off. It just annoys me. Chloe, you're into sport.
Yeah, I've got a few things to say on this. So, unless you're in one of the few very popular sports where you get funding from, Nike, Adidas, and whoever, most sports in this country, it's very, very hard to get the money that you need to be able to train full time. So people fight to get enough funding from people like UK Sport, lottery funding, etc. And if we now get to a point where if you don't use the podium as a political platform, you're potentially going to get your funding pulled. Or if you've ever posted a political opinion that doesn't agree with their left-wing agenda online, we're going to pull your funding. And then that devastates your dreams as an athlete. If you can't train full-time and your competitors in other countries have the money to train full-time, you're probably going to lose. That's the reality because it's very competitive. So it's going to be a really sad state of affairs if that is the case. And it's not just these sort of charitable organisations like UK Sport, lottery funding. If you are in a more popular sport and you are funded by Nike, Adidas, etc., they will kick you out if you don't use your platforms to express political opinions or at least not show anything that they disagree with. So it is a very difficult environment for athletes at the moment.
Oh, we have another super chat. Woohoo! Saying love your channel, only recently found you, keep up the good work. We're getting lots of very nice comments saying that we've got good banter and they're enjoying the show tonight. We have gone on a little bit longer. Stephen says we're all feckin' livid at the state of everything and the politicians. And Adi says this is all part of ESG, that's environmental, social and governmental and diversity, equity and inclusion policies, and that it's so they get more funding from the likes of BlackRock, which of course do put prerequisites on funding around ESG and DEI. And Alex, you probably know a little bit more about this than I do, but do you think Adi's right on those points?
Yeah, absolutely spot on, and it backs off of what Chloe's saying because BlackRock funds Adidas and Nike. I think it's probably the biggest shareholder in those companies too. It's in everything actually. BlackRock own a small percentage in almost everything, as do their counterparts, a company called Vanguard, who are just as bad but get less press. And unfortunately, it's comply or die. And I can imagine that some of these athletes would not want to comply, but will feel they have no choice or will never be allowed to compete. And that's the reality, is that, money talks and BS, does the rest. So I think this isn't going to get better. I think this is going to continue to get worse. And particularly as the societal issues get more aggressive in our country and they become more obvious, more money will be thrown at people to try and reverse it socially, to try and use these celebrities to, the George Clooney's going out for the Democrats, for example. Let's be under no doubt, George Clooney's not doing it for fun. He's doing it for money. So you'll see more of it. You just need to make sure you turn a blind eye to it, ignore them, because one thing celebrities hate more than anything else, and one thing that takes the power away from them, is ignoring them.
I just wish that the taxpayer wouldn't be fleeced for this sort of thing, though, because I am assuming that UK sport does receive some form of government taxpayer
Yes.
funding. I hate it
Yeah.
when people say government funding. There is no such thing as government
No.
funding. There are only taxpayers. But yeah, I assume it does receive some form of funding from the taxpayer teat, and
It does.
I absolutely. I don't think that should be allowed, right? We need to cut ASGDAI out of taxpayer funding altogether.
Can I just say, because it's really important for people to know this, one of the difficult things when a country is almost bankrupt is that companies like BlackRock and Vanguard step in, and organizations like the IMF step in, and they put very tough, not just economic policies, but social policies as a way to get you out of it. And so you have to comply. So one of the problems with having a bankrupted country is no matter what happens, even if we put in a reform government here, they would try and crash and destroy our country before that we could even be able to implement a policy. You see sort of similar things with Liz Truss. I know she didn't. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who praise Liz. I have a mixed opinion about Liz Truss, but you see a similar sort of thing. They didn't like where she was going with it, so they took her out pretty quickly.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.